It's not our intention. It just happens to happen that way. It turns out you can't actually make a living out of reporting the comics industry news right now, but you can make a living doing stuff in the comics industry. And occasionally when it's newsworthy, you guys still have to report on it. And that's what we're doing. Then after all of that, we're going to get into what are the biggest headlines of 2025. How did our comics industry start? How did it end? And then next week, I don't want to get ahead of everything, but I think we're going to try and look to see what's coming next. But let's deal with the big news. First, I just want to give you, I always forget that I have to give this part, and I give myself a drum roll, and then I go through and do my little
but first,
the Prana Bullet. Once again, we do this every week. We have a newsletter that we put out every Friday. It's essentially like an expanded version of what we do here on the show, where we give you a full list of all the big stories that we think are going to affect the comics industry and what you need to be paying attention to. After the first of the year, we're also going to be putting in the previous week's sales numbers from our POS systems that we work with, including Managed Comics and Comic Shop Assistant. It is the tightest little nugget of information that we can put together to go into your weekend so that you feel confident that you know what's happening in the comics industry and can keep your own business or career moving. And Brian, our co-host, is working on something very big. We are going to talk a little bit about how Diamonds did have a service that allowed people to set up their subscriptions to send them to comic shops. This thing called Comic Previews is what that is now. So you want to be signing up. If you're a store, you want to be signing up. If you're a fan, you want to be signing up. You want to be scanning this QR code and signing up. If you like comics, this is something you're going to be checking out because it's going to be something you're really dealing with on a basic, on a regular basis. All right. I think those are the two things I always forget that we're going to be doing. All right, let's talk about it. Comics, the magazine. What am I looking at here, Joe? What is this?
This is the cover of Lunar Distribution's next catalog. Features all their publishers. And the cover, yes, is Comics, the magazine, #1. The cover of which you may be familiar. It's a little book called Absolute Batman. The cover art is Nick Dragotta of Absolute Batman fame and art director of Comics, the magazine, Rico Renzi. I mean, I don't even know what to say, dude. It's just such a huge honor that Lunar reached out and was like, we want to feature this on the cover. So, yeah, thanks that whole team. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, everybody. Like that was
seriously
amazing. Yeah,
we've been very lucky working with them, and they're a fantastic crew. Yeah. Comics the magazine, as we announced last week on Friday, is going to be out in stores in March. I am the publisher, Joe is the editor, and we just happen to be reporting on the biggest story of comics right now that happens to be us. Comics the magazine. Will you tell everybody really quickly what is Comics the magazine and why should they care?
Comics the magazine is a genuine enthusiasm for comic books in print month after month. We're going to be talking about the biggest books that you've heard of with the creative teams. We're going to talk about books you haven't heard of. Like we're going to talk about, it's basically Wizard's the old Comics the magazine. That's kind of the line we've been saying internally. We love Wizard.
That's right.
Wrong. But it's basically, look, it's a one-stop shop to learn about what's happening in comics, what's coming up in comics. Like, it's the place to go. It's the centralized hub of all things comic books right now. So we've got some killer features. We've got some reviews. We've got we're going to have an art tutorial in the first issue. I'm not going to say by who, but it's pretty awesome. We're going to be serializing something pretty awesome by our buddy Rob Guillory. Tony Fleece, who we're going to be talking about more in a second, is also doing a little something for us. Anyway, it's packed, guys. And the mission, last thing, please. It's all about the work. It's all about comics. There's nothing else in here. This is it. Right. That's the target. So if you're excited about reading more comics, this is the place to find out about it.
Joe does this amazing job of like being our head coach, where he's like, we're fucking talking about comics. It's just comics. We're not talking about that. We're not getting involved in politics. We're not getting involved in any of the other sideline that carries on with comics. This is just about the work.
People ask me what kind of comics you guys are going to cover. Here's my big description. You ready? Is it good? Is it great? That's what I want to cover. That's all. Those are my parameters. I
Love
want
it.
great work. I don't care who's making it. I want great work that people are going to get excited about. That's it. So that's what we're doing.
Couple quick FAQs, and I promise we'll move on. We're not going to make this once a week an ad for Comics the Magazine, but a couple of quick FAQs. One, it'll be out through Lunar Distribution. Obviously, we have the cover. It will be out through Universal through their U.S. distribution. No, we don't plan on doing any subscriptions directly to fans. We want our stores to be able to be that hub. And so you should be asking the stores right now about your subscriptions. You absolutely should be doing that. 3, let's see, what else? Yes, there's going to be a price guide. Yes, there is going to be a checklist of things that you should be getting in your store. Yeah, they're going to be all the features that we love. Classifieds. Tell you what, right this second, just to prove that if you're hearing this and you're an audience member, I'm going to make one offer one time. And if you're hearing this, I want you to send us a classified ad between, I'm doing this right now, Joe. All right,
Wow.
you ready?
Classified ad. This is not prepared.
This is not prepared. I'm making this up. You know why? Publisher. Okay. Between let's call it 25 and 100 words. Okay. Send it to info@pranadm.com. We'll add you into you'll get a free classified ad. We're going to be selling classifieds later on, but you'll get a free one just for watching the show and hearing what I just said. Make sure you mention you heard about it here though, because I don't want everybody diving in on this one, because we'll run out of room. So there you go. Mention the show. That's right. There you go. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Not a 50-page price guide. Don't worry. That's correct. What Gabe had. All right. Let's move on, shall we? Because I don't necessarily want this to be a completely advertorial for our magazine.
Yeah.
Our friends at DC, man, they are just killing.
Yeah.
Killing.
Yeah.
Tell us about the announcement that just came out.
So this was one of them that our buddies at DC sent us the press release on, like moments before the show started. It's an insane lineup. We've got Scotty Young. He's writing Lobo with Jorge Corona, and then Greg Rucka is back on Batwoman with Danny. And I mean, it's just truth matter is Tony Fleece, who you know from Stray Dogs, also writing for Comics the Magazine, is writing Deathstroke. Like, dude, like we talked about when Baltimore Comic came out, DC is just pulling every single lever right now with their books.
They are.
And it's just, I mean, I don't know, like the way they're talking about making these like creator-driven books on established characters. Obviously, it's worked out great for the Absolute books. To see the same sort of editorial edict go on to the main line, is just wild. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm pumped for these guys right now. Like, they're really throwing down the gauntlet.
One of the pieces that came out of that press release was that they are trying to use the success that they had from the Ultimate line of giving people their first entry in, and they're using this as a way to go into the bigger DC universe. Whereas there is the Absolute line that lives off on this pocket, but the bigger DCU, still has Superman, its own version of Superman and Batman. But these new characters are essentially your step into that, and Lobo is going to be a big deal.
Yeah,
big deal this year.
Huge book.
Oh man,
yeah, I'm really pumped about it. We talked about it. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I will say, there's been some analysis on, okay, so the Absolute books are hitting big, maybe not trickling down to some, like, say, creator-owned, like, original books. But here's the deal, guys. Okay, the generation coming in, like guys like our buddy Steve Anderson, right, who owns Third Eye, he's getting all these younger readers coming in. They're the readers who grew up on Raina Telgemeier, right, on Bone, right, on Dogman, and they grew up and started reading manga. And they're like, all right, they reached the age where they're in their 20s now. And they're like, man, what else is out there?
Right.
Absolute Batman. Batman's got an axe. Batman looks awesome. Joker's a monster. Like, this looks crazy. I got to check this out. And a lot of people have been talking about, well, when's that going to trickle down? This is the first step.
Yeah.
This expanding out. And it's also, like I said earlier, it's a gauntlet thrown. Like everybody else.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Marvel, start thinking about
Image, Dark Horse. I mean, Image, I will say Skybound right now too, with Battle Beast. It's it's a giant cat dude with a sword, just killing it right now. And if you like the show, it's awesome. But also, if all you've ever read is manga, and that's like that's a gateway drug. So like this is the stuff. This is what helps builds the road. So like I'd say late 2026, early 2027, you're gonna really want to have a killer book set ready to go.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And the um the I'm sorry, Kyle talking about the classified submitted first marketing for his new venture. I'm so glad. Good. Did distract me there for a second. I will say that as you talk about like that Dogman generation, they're coming in. We see our friends at Skybound. They made a big Invincible announcement that's happening in March.
Yep.
Like it's, I mean, you know, people are really beginning to see this groundswell that we've already seen in the stores, right? We've seen this 20% increase. We're going to talk about that again later, but like we're already seeing it. And these are new people. We got to get them here. We got to get them staying. We got to get them hooked. So they're coming in every week and becoming part of our ecosystem. So good job, DC. Keep it up,
dude.
and keep sending us stuff too, will you?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's get into our big feature. This is the 25 stories that define our industry in 2025. I hope you blocked out 3 hours, Joe. You ready to go? Because we're doing 25 of them, apparently.
Let's go. My family will have to wait for this.
All right. Well, let's do the first 5 and we'll see how it goes. Diamond declares bankruptcy. We have talked about, I will tell you, when we got into this conversation of what are we going to do this week, my biggest concern was we were going to do an entire show that was just encapsulating all of the things that we've been talking about every week, you know? And so like, what makes this different? So we wanted to dig in a little bit, but it feels like as we enter chapter 7, that we're finally coming in on the end of this saga, right? As you've mentioned earlier, the Game of Thrones of this feels like it's finally coming into a landing, but I mean, not a landing anybody likes.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like again, been working this business 20 years. This is the most wild saga I've ever seen unfold. I wouldn't be placing bets that it's over yet. You know?
That's a good point. Yeah,
we'll see. You know, and you know, just maybe it's nostalgia. I don't think so, but I want a successful Diamond. I want a bunch of successful distributors. But yeah, it seems I don't know how we get out of this one, boss. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about what got us here. So we wanted to encapsulate this, and I realized as I started to build some slides to encapsulate this entire story that it's really not something we can do in 5-10 minutes. So Brian and I have just been discussing it. I think we're going to try and put together some sort of little explainer video for all of this, but just to give it some structure, right? Diamond Comics Distributors Inc. was and there's a war that happens between distributors back in the late 90s. A lot has been talked about there. We could get into that. That's a fascinating story in of itself. They end up that whole drama is with essentially a monopoly over the distribution of single issue comics into comic shops. Then COVID happens in March of 2020. They have to shut down, and they are shut down for 7 weeks. Over the course of those 7 weeks, trust is broken. The risk of the fact that we have a single point of failure is exposed to everybody. And DC exits, taking their business in June to 2 major retailers. Eventually comes to 1 retailer. After that, the monopoly basically ends. That opens the floodgates. Marvel ends up moving to Penguin Random House. Nobody saw them getting involved in this. And then we see several others move to PRH and to Lunar. Then Diamond just starts declining. They lose market share. They have this massive warehouse in Olive Branch, Mississippi, that I understand is still there, that had robots and people walking around with headsets on that they were just like drones. It was crazy. And they had nothing to do with this warehouse or this structure. So they filed Chapter 11 in January of this year. Then we see a court approve a breakup. We see the assets sold to Universal Distribution and Ad Populum. Yes, we are completely wiping past the fact that there was another buyer who looked like they won and then they were pulled back. Then essentially Diamond is over. Diamond now is owned by Ad Populum, but there is the monopoly is not there, and nobody else is really creating a new monopoly. We have not yet seen a distributor war where people are scooping up exclusives. It seems that everybody is now focused on either looking for new markets to push comics into, or really focusing in on their part of this, right? For Lunar, a lot of their stuff has to do with accuracy and shipping and the small details we were talking about earlier. Universal seems to be really focusing in on their service, like their communication. They see that as the way that they're going to distinguish themselves. Lunar is still, I think, primarily because of their deal with both DC and Image, is still kind of our primary distributor. They are able to carry a lot more and smaller publishers. We at Prana have Prana publishers, and then our friends at Massive have Massive Indies that essentially allow even smaller publishers to come in under the Lunar banner and be distributed. And the direct market is just changing. Everything is fragmenting. You talked about how there are new players on the board like Power Pulp. We're seeing that sort of fragmentation, but it is becoming down to like this sort of decentralized, I think more stable universe where
100%.
everything is now decentralized. We're getting better data as publishers. We're getting better access to the retailers and to the fans than we did at Diamond. Now, granted, there are things we're missing, right? There are things like the assets that Diamond built. A lot of them are not there anymore. We don't seemingly have some of the new store policies, and no one is acting as the bank of comics anymore, right? So, which might be good. We could have that debate as well. But yeah, it has been a wild year in this particular story. And I think and we look back on this year, and obviously this is the one that will change everything for us. So where do you think, when we jumped into this year, 2025, you and I are putting together, it's New Year's Eve 2025. You and I are putting together Recca for launching in May. When did you come in before the end of last 20?
Oh yeah. I came in October last year.
Yeah, that's right. We're like, where do you see us when you hear this? Do you see the path ahead of us? Where do you think that this is going, and how would that change?
If you want a glimpse at the future, Jim Rugg, our friend of the show, created a zine called 1986. Collects all this stuff from 1986 in the market. Now, I'm not saying this for nostalgia, but the argument of the zine is like, this is the best year comics has had. And one thing that was really evident in that, and going over it, there's a bunch of distributors, right? Like industries thrive with competition, right? I want people competing to be the best. I don't want a monopoly. I love Diamond. I had a great relationship with Diamond when I was working with Image Comics with them. But I will say they got complacent, and that led to where things are at. It's like, I want people competing. I want publishers competing. I want creators competing. We need distributors competing.
Yes.
100%.
Excellent. Oh, and thanks for whoever was so quick on the comments there.
Yeah.
Check that zine out. It is impressive. Yeah. Also the year that too many buttons. Also the year that Watchmen came out, the year that
100%.
Dark Knight Returns is out.
You had DC experimenting, doing a lot of creator forward stuff, and it helps everybody.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I'm not looking I don't want Watchmen 2. I don't want the Dark Knight 2. I want everyone competing at the highest level. Of craft, of business. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the future. It's not for nostalgia. It's like, that's the roadmap for the future. So
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Somebody be careful. If somebody check in on Gabe Yoakum, because my guess is, but every time Joe starts talking like that, he goes through a wall. So awesome. Yeah, it's been a crazy wild, but we have to feel like we're in such a stronger place. Not only the store's doing well, but we're going to get into that too. So as a part of that, I think all of that success, we've already talked about DC doing just a phenomenal job of bringing us the absolute line of bringing these compact editions, like this format alone, which allows us to do the future is compact edition, right? It allows all publishers to start participating in that, like, kind of post manga world. Has just been an incredible godsend. But that in and of itself was brave, right? The idea that we're going to take these things that we've reprinted 100 times. The stores are so angry that we're reprinting a Watchmen, for instance, that they sell at $19.99, $24.99. They can sell it all day long. But now you're going to make me, the only one available is $10. Right. I mean, that takes some bravery. They have to face that. And as a result, they've sold so many more. Right. It is that sort of, it's that entryway that we talked about earlier that they were able to bet on and made it happen. And as a result of that, we're seeing things like what we reported on this last week. Marvel has been the market leader in the direct market for, I don't even know. I don't know. It's better than 2 decades at this point.
Yeah. It's
like every month I can find, every month of market share readings I've seen, Marvel has been ahead. And that's partially because they kind of tweak the numbers by putting out lots of covers, right? Because the extra covers sell more. And so if you normalize that, they were never as far away as it seemed. But DC, even with that, has been killing them. 300,000 units on, what was it? Absolute Batman 15, and still sold out.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Dude, I've got a great comics store out here, Captain Comics, Boise, Idaho. How you guys doing? I went the day after. They stock everything very highly. They keep Absolute Batman right on top. Sold out.
Yeah.
And issue 15.
I know. Yeah, it's phenomenal, but I think that they are to be commended. They made some really tough choices. They allowed Scott Snyder, the super passionate fan that he is, to just to take that and run with it. They've done an amazing job. Okay. All right, hang on. I have to pull this up. Yes, Jeremy, we understand. Sold out at a distributor level does not mean that all your copies have sold out, but all the copies at Joe's LCS are sold out. I mean, come on, man. Also, yes, Gabe points out a raw copy of issue 1 for $300. That's crazy pants. I just found this. Do you guys think I can get anything for this? I got this at Comics Pro last year. This is the black and white version. Is that a thing? Is that something that people want? I don't know. Anyway,
that's cool.
All right. So yes, DC, thank you very much for bringing us this, because it has allowed comic shops to do incredibly well. This is our 3rd story, 4th, whatever. Comic shops, we have seen just over and over and over again. We're seeing these. We keep hearing the number 20%. I heard from a store, 2 months ago, something like that, said that they were having a 40% over last year increase.
Did you say 40?
40. And this is a 35-year-old store.
That's awesome.
Right? This is not like, this is an established business doing that kind of increase. We did some reporting from Comic Shop Assistant, and I think we're going to, I'm hoping, Django, I know you're out there, dude, let's do a state of the industry for 2025. You wanna? Where we go through and looked at we did a cohort of, I think it was just under 100 stores, and they were like 18% over last year on average, right? And some of them not doing as great because they had very different store models than the others. So the idea that we are hitting that average means that there were some that were just killing it. So, all right, count us in. You guys heard it. We're going to do a state of the industry. All right, we just put that together. See, this is how these things develop.
Classifieds, shows like this. We're making stuff happen. This is going.
It never ever stops. It's exhausting. um yeah, so anyway, all of this to say the comic shops just are massively growing, and I think it really comes down to that. Again, you rightfully pointed out that Dogman generation is coming in into the stores for the first time. They're getting their first jobs, right? So they have their first disposable income that they can spend on their own, and they can, learn about these community centers of the comic shops. It's their local bar. It's the place they go and hang out.
Yeah.
And once a week you get to go in and talk about comics and talk about the guy, and he's got the stuff sitting there waiting for you, and you feel special. And if you don't already have a pull list, what's wrong with you? Go get it. Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah. So comic shops doing incredibly well. Now, that said, we did have some closures, especially early in the year. We a couple of notable stores, the Dragon in Milton, the Dragon being Jen Haynes' store. Jen is a big friend of the show, and I believe we've had her on here. If not, we've definitely done an interview with her. Fat Jack's in Philly, kind of notable stores closed. There was as I was looking up these, trying to figure out which ones were which ones had closed, I found a story from Rich. He likes at Bleeding Cool, likes to do the store closing, store opening. He does that every once in a while. He wasn't had to go back to February in order to find a story like this. And it was something along the lines of 12 stores close, 11 stores open, which is basically how it goes. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we heard from Christina Merkler from Lunar Distribution here last week. 400 new accounts have opened this year. 400 new accounts. Incredible. Yeah. So, it's a good time, I think. If you've been always wanting to be a comic shop owner, it's not a bad time to be in. I'm just saying, do it right. Do it, run a real business, do all of the research that you need to do, and make sure that you have enough money in the bank. But it's not I don't see anything that is going to stop this anytime soon, short of a complete economic collapse, which, knock wood, is not happening in this year. So, although who knows, we still have 2 weeks out of this year.
It's been a wild one, so tune in a couple of weeks, see how it turned out.
All right. I have to say, Blake, you killed this one. This is a great slide, because blind bags were a thing this year. We learned that you put a comic book into a bag that nobody knows what's inside of it. They'll buy more than one. That's insane. Who knew?
Yeah.
This, by the way, is a joke about the bear. If you haven't watched The Bear, you won't get this joke. So thank Blake for that, because he likes food-based humor. And we're just lucky that this was not a hot dog joke. So
I think blind bags are really cool. I think when they're done best, like I really loved how, talked about our friends at Skybound earlier. Like I liked how you really didn't know what was going on that one. Right. With Battle Beast, it could be it could be other covers, which is cool. I got one that was the next issue. Right?
Yeah.
I got one that was issue 2. You could get like the Spider-Man crossover, I think like that, but at its best is when it's totally like random. And I saw Marvel just did one with like Kevin Feige did a sketch. Like it, like that's the secret. I think with these, it's not so much a secret, but like is really making it. I have no idea what's going to happen. And I think, I mean, not to critique anybody, but I do think that needs, well, maybe a little bit, but I do think it needs to be more. And here's just another variant cover, right? Here's something wild I didn't expect. I think is really what drives people in when it comes to story in comics, but also with initiatives like this. So.
Well, and I think also, I mean, it's a couple of things. Obviously, the covers, it is a new way to sell alternative covers. Mark Spears, who's on here, he essentially hit every month of this year. He hit the market share list based solely on his books, right? And man, what an incredible success story he's been this year, but just based solely on the fact that people love his covers. And but I do think you're right. It is going to be the people like Skybound who are students of the craft, right? Students of the direct market, of the medium, and understand what it is that fans are actually interested. I think that's what's going to make the distinguishing. I will say there are a couple people in our show chat who always want to call it, oh, the bubble's bursting, oh, blind bags are over, and I keep saying no, this is all far from over.
I
We're gonna
mean,
be
look,
this for a while.
if it's the same boring stuff, like it's just like it's two random covers, this one's black and white, like, okay,
Sure.
maybe. But if you're gonna do something wild that that people will genuinely don't expect, I think there's a lot of room for that.
I think so too, and I think that people are going to be really excited. And as long as live sales are going to be that like as valuable as they are to the stores, I think that we're really just going to be seeing these continue on, because these are kind of made for live sales. They are, or live web broadcast sales, because they give a little bit of mystery and a little bit of suspense to what is normally, I'm going to open this book and tell you what it is.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So, hold on. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. There's something in the chat room. Maybe we'll try and drop in. We'll get there. All right, this was your slide. I'm gonna let you take it, because in all the things that I could say predicting, if you told me at the beginning of this year that I was going to be not one, but twice talking about how Rob Liefeld is a mover and shaker. He has really had a year, hasn't he?
Dude, he has been killing it. Yeah, no, look, I know it's like on the bingo card, Joe mentions the Image Founders, but I'll say this, like, Rob is absolutely killing it. And there's a lot to learn from this. There's two primary things. One is, if you're a comic book creator, you need to watch this guy's last 6 years. You need to see 2020, pencils down, start the podcast, starts communicating directly with comic book readers, and about his genuine love of comics. Like, Rob is not, how should I put this? It's not a show. Like, Rob loves comics. Like, one of my favorite things about Rob, if you go to his studio, in fact, it's on his show, he has a spinner rack full of key issues of X-Men that are like tattered and bagged and board. People are like, why don't you bag and board those? And he's like, because that's the way it was when I bought them. This guy loves comics, and he communicates that like week after week on this podcast. Yeah. Then he starts doing live sales of direct-to-consumer books. Like I think Last Blood was one of them, and then there was a version of Youngblood that came out at San Diego Comic-Con, right? Of course, he did some like retailer exclusive covers when the book was coming back. But he started with communicating to comic book readers, doing the direct consumer for a good period of time. And then he comes in to comic book shops and gets the #1 Image book of the month. And yes, look, I know it's Rob Liefeld, big name. Yes, I know, creator of Deadpool. I get it, right? I'm not that guy. How do I emulate this? Like, just look at the model. I'm not saying you're going to have the same level of success he is, but I'm just saying, build your audience, communicate genuinely, focus on the work, and then, do a combination of direct to consumer and the direct market.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's it, right? It is that sort of connection with the audience that he leaned all the way in on. I will say, if I have a critique, and maybe it's just his ability to find the thing that's going to get people talking, it's that engagement through all, no matter what. Like, he had some real negative shit to say about comic shops, and when he was doing his direct to consumer thing, and that got everybody all riled up.
But you know what, though? I got to kind of defend him on this one. Like, I don't agree necessarily with everything he says, but he's not saying it for like to engage with the algorithm. Yeah. Like this is the dude's opinion, and he's got opinions, and they're genuine opinions. I think when people get turned off, and I don't like negativity in stuff that I watch, but like, I just want genuine, like, I don't like just blatant positivity either. Right. I want the genuine person, and so that's what I'll think. The other thing, by the way, I want to say, because we teed it up with the DC stuff. A lot of creators I've talked to have been like, okay, this is great news. Comic book stores are selling way more. Yeah. Absolute selling way more. Like, when's my creator own thing going to sell more? I'm not going to say, and I'm not going to tell anybody you're going to sell the same level that Rob's selling on this, but I will say, I do think this is like the crack in the dam.
I think so too. I think it was just like, it's a natural progression. I mean, we talk about this a lot. I mean, we talked about it a lot on the show. We talk about it a lot in our day-to-day. This Dogman generation is coming in. They're coming in the comic shops for the first time. And what did I buy the first time I walked in the comic shop? Batman Death in the Family. Why? Because I'm old. But you know that, but that's just it. You come in for Batman, you love Batman, Batman, and then suddenly you learn, oh wait, this writer is somebody that I like. Maybe I like the other stuff that he does, or this artist. Let's go find something else they've done. That's how you grow, and that's how these creator owns are going to be able to start riding this wave. But you're right, that wave comes after. It's not.
I'm just saying, if you don't have a genuine conversation with the readership out there, and also just focus on the work, folks.
Yes.
Like just focus on what you're doing. I know running a magazine focuses on the work, so it's a little whatever.
Yeah.
But like communicate directly with the readership. Start that now. Like it's like seriously, you got to get 2026 ready. You got to get early 2027 ready. Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like I love Rob. I worked with Rob. He gave me my start, so I'm obviously biased, but like I think this is the one to watch, and I think this and the model is the one to watch too. So
absolutely engage. Two things. We say this a lot. Two things you need to focus on: the quality of the work.
Yep.
Your connection with your audience.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything else follows.
Yeah.
Everything else follows. So awesome. Yeah. Thank you for bringing this up. I got to tell you, if I had also, you told me I was going to have an amazing dinner with Rob, I would have been there's no way that would have been on my bingo card. So this has been quite the year. We should take a shot whenever somebody says Dogman Generation. You know what? You should definitely watch this once a week then, because I'm going to make sure that you get good and plastered.
It's the big story though. It really is. It's like this, and it's just starting.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just starting. Like they're just, and by the way, I did want to mention, so our friend Steve Anderson was talking to our other friend David Harper about this, and he was saying he's seeing the same kind of readership coming in for Youngblood, young 20-something-year-olds who are just excited about comics.
Yeah.
Get ready, folks. I'm telling you, I'm not promising anyone success, because they're going to be able to, like it's an art form and it's industry. There's a lot of failure too. Okay. But the best chance for success is coming out, I think, late 2026, early 2027.
100%. And then we did it. Look at that. You jumped in, man. And we got through. Before we do Brian's CTA and our own, I want to take a minute with you. I mean, honestly, I will say, you know, just looking back on this year, working with you, absolute joy. It's been so good. We've done such really cool shit together this year that I'm really proud of.
Oh yeah.
And our team at Prana has done an amazing job of building something out of what really was. I mean, when people ask me what my company is, I'm like, I don't know. We like comics, and we talk about comics a lot, and people pay us. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
No, back at you, buddy. It's been a great year. It's been probably one of the most fun years I've had in comics. Like, it's been cool, and their little detour into video game land. It's been fun coming back and just like doing the con circuit again, and just seeing like it's a really exciting time, just as a reader.
Yeah.
You know. Much less a dude who's helping out with, editorial and direct market solutions. Anyway.
Well, let's do the call to actions. All right. So we'll finish this thing up. Blake, thank you, buddy. Megan and Gabe, I know you guys are both in the chat. You have done an amazing job this year, and everybody who is on our Prana team, was it 7 or 8 of you? Thank you so much for helping us build this company. Brian has done an amazing job. He does this every week. He does these webinars, and working with him is going to be crazy. So wait a minute. Sign up for a Webtoons account if you told January. Oh yeah, well there you go. We're going to talk to somebody at Webtoons. I'm actually talking to them tomorrow. That's really cool. We're going to be coming up in the podcast. So yes, if you want to learn more about Managed Comics, please do go ahead and sign up, scan that QR code, and come in and look at the webinars that are happening. He's doing his best to build all of the features that you need for comic shops going forward. So please do set up. Also, we just had an announcement today about the negative burn return. Our buddy Joe Pruitt is a client of Prana, and we're helping them put out a campaign on Zoop, and that was announced today on Bleeding Cool. In fact, it's right here in the chat, so be sure to go check that out. I'm sorry, sometimes I push the button and somebody else pushes the button. It's just the way it happens. Okay. Speaking of button pushing, Comics the Magazine. We've already talked
haven't heard yet.
If you haven't heard yet, there's a magazine coming out called Comics the Magazine. It is coming to your comic shops in March of this year through Lunar and Universal. It is going to be chock full of all the stuff that we love, right? A lot less. I don't know. Maybe we'll be talking a lot about the Dogman generation, but it will be, yes, an enthusiastic magazine about comics. So please do sign up and help us get this thing off the ground, because I think we all deserve to have a magazine about comics, don't you? All right.
I agree.
Look at that, man. We actually did it and came in early.
Dude. Wow. Look at that.
Seriously. All right. Somebody help Felicia. She's gonna be a little schnockered.
Good
all
year.
Right.
Yeah.
Any questions? Anybody? Any questions for this? Probably not.
I just want to say one thing on the Negative Burn thing. Like, if you've never checked out Negative Burn, I really do think it's one of the most important anthologies that have existed. Like, it started in like the late 80s when there's run at Caliber. I will say my first I do a bit of a bias. My first published story wasn't an early Negative Burn. Don't recommend my story, but I do recommend the anthology. I will say,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Yeah, and Pruitt did that for a lot of guys. And then there's a lot of great work that if you've never checked it out, I highly recommend back this campaign. It's going to be packed full of good comics.
That's incredible. All right. Well, thanks so much. Thanks for coming on and helping me wrap up this year and doing it in a nice tight 45.
Yeah.
It was look at that when we did it. I'm impressed with us. For the rest of you, check us out, pranadm.com. We have the bullet, but we also do a bunch of services. Joe and I work there along with Megan and Gabe, who were on, along with Blake, who is keeping this whole show on the tracks. So please check us out in the new year. And coming up next week, we're going to look to the future. We're going to no, we're not going to put on headgear. I'm not making Johnny Carson jokes. That's going to get me canceled again. We are going to make some prognostications about what our industry is going to look like in 2026, and it's bound to be foolish. I was just reviewing. We had asked people to make predictions on one of our early shows, and they didn't. Well, some of them were pretty close. They were pretty interesting. All right, thanks so much, y'all. If you are a comics fan, thank you. If you're in a comic shop right now, thank you. Even if you're working there, if you're running it, if you're unloading boxes and you're going through the paperwork and you're putting books on shelves, thank you. If you are buying ads from us for Comics the Magazine, go to Gabe at pranadm.com. Extra special thank you. If you're a creator who's just doing good work and engaging with your audience and doing the work, thank you.
Yeah.
If you're a publisher who's putting their work out, thank you. If you're a distributor, you can't thank you enough for keeping us all afloat. Basically, all of you this week, you saved comics. Congratulations. We really appreciate you doing that because, otherwise we got to go find something else to do. Blake, let's wrap this thing up early.